Today, we are going back to Star City and the CW DC universe with the cast of Arrow. And now is the time for all of you in our chat room to begin typing in your questions for them. Immediately after this session, you will have the opportunity to talk to them directly through our private chat options, as well as shop our selection of autographs, all of which are available now at galaxycon.com. So without further ado, let's knock our bows and bring them out. Our first guest is an actress whose extensive body of work includes X-Men 2, Warehouse 13, Phineas and Ferb, and The Orville. Today, she joins us to talk about the role of criminal mastermind China White. Please welcome back Kelly Hu.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, how you been, Kelly?
I've been great. Thank you. How are you?
I am doing well in my corner of the world. Again, we were out of the tunnel and then we got back into it a little bit for a little while. And now we're getting back out of it, I think. And the tunnel keeps getting smaller every time we go back into it. So I cling to that optimism. But in the meantime, though, during all this, I did rewatch Young Justice. And again, I love that. I love that series so much.
It's so great. It's such a great show, and the fans were amazing to have brought this show back. I mean, yeah, it's just an awesome show to be working on too.
Oh, absolutely. I look forward to the day maybe we can get a Young Justice event going on. But in the meantime, we're here to talk about the Arrow and the Arrowverse and the CWDCU, whatever it's called this week. And our next guest is an actress whose roles include Training Day, NCIS, and Hawaii Five-0. Today, she joins us to discuss her time with the League of Assassins as Nyssa Al Ghul. Please welcome back Katrina Law.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for coming back. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. You? Hi, Kelly.
I am all right. I'm here in Orlando, and it's like almost 90 degrees, which is typical for this time of year.
Mm-hmm. I think it snowed here.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, glad to see you. You're doing good. Everything's well in your part of the world.
Yep, just cruising, filming NCIS, living the dream.
Hey, that's a good gig. And a great show, by the way.
It's a great gig. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. You're doing a bang-up job at it as well. Thank you so much for being a part of that. Next, she is an actress and singer and writer whose credits include The Walking Dead and the Dolphin Tale film series. Today, she joins us to discuss the role of Diana Drake, a.k.a. Black Canary. Please welcome back Juliana Harkavy.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
I am so good. Really excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
So good to have you back. How are you doing in your corner of the world?
Great. It's I'm in California. It's beautiful. I have 2 new puppies and living the life.
Well, like I said, anytime you like to introduce our audience to your new pups, absolutely feel free.
One is right here, so we'll make that happen.
Okay, let's bring it up now. Let's go. Let's do it now. Let's get it out of the way.
She doesn't have a name yet, but
okay.
We're calling her Moo.
Oh. Oh, that is
on Monday.
Oh wow.
Monday. Oh my gosh.
Welcome to the world.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Good on you for promoting for doing that and rescue and everything else.
Yeah.
Another time that's dear to my heart. My fur brat's over there, and I plucked her out of a bush several years ago. So yeah.
That's the best.
Absolutely. Well, Juliana, once again, thank you for joining us here. And next, she's an actress and producer whose credits include The Stand, Transformers Rescue Bots, and of course, Shadowhunters. Today, she joins us to discuss a character she has played across the series in the Arrowverse, Mia Smoak, later known as Mia Queen. Please welcome Catherine McNamara.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me today. Anyways.
Thank you for coming back. How are you?
I'm great. I am always happy to come back to the Arrowverse.
Oh, absolutely. So glad to have you here. Once again, thank you for joining us again. Everything is well in your corner of the world.
Absolutely. The sun is shining and I get to chat with some old and new friends. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh, absolutely. Let's see if we can make some new friends with our audience. And next, he is an actor whose roles include Teen Wolf, The Gates, and American Horror Story. Today, he joins us to discuss the role of Roy Harper, better known as Arsenal. Please welcome Colton Haynes.
Woo! Hello.
Hey.
How are you?
We're good, boss. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I can't complain. It's nice here in LA. I'm freezing, but I think it's like 70 degrees.
So besides the freezing part, everything is good in your part of the world?
I cannot complain. Yeah, I mean, if Kat's also in LA. Yeah, it's a beautiful day. So she said
Right
the
on.
sun is shining, and it is here too.
All right on. Well, Colton, absolutely thank you for joining us here today. And next, she is an actress, singer, dancer, and director whose body of work includes Death Valley and Mad Men. Today, she joins us to discuss the role that has taken her completely across the Arrowverse as Sarah Lance, aka the White Canary. Please welcome back Katie Lotz. Katie, how have you been?
Oh, I'm doing really well. Up here, back in Vancouver. It's a little chilly, but it was nice.
Hey, as some of us get to relax in the warm weather, some of us get to work in cool weather. It's all good. It's all good. So, well, friends, once again, thank you for joining us here on the GalaxyCon virtual stage. Our team is going through the chat room right now, pulling out the questions for you. In the meantime, I just want to throw this out for each of you. What would you say was the craziest day you ever had on either the Arrowverse set or maybe one of the other ancillary Arrowverse shows?
There's a lot of crazy.
As someone coming in later seasons, one of my craziest days was my first crossover in season 7. Because I just remember being driven from the Legends set to the Flash set to the Batwoman set, back to the Arrow set. And it was the craziest was the first day I ever wore my super suit was also the day we were shooting Steven's death, which happened to be on our set, but with the Supergirl crew, and everyone was there. And so I was bouncing off the walls, excited to wear my super suit for the first time, seeing everyone else, and then going, oh, wait, I now have to bawl my eyes out because my father's dying. Okay. Many emotions, too many emotions all at once.
I think the funeral scene in the season finale was pretty crazy, just emotionally, just because it's that same feeling of you walking up and just seeing a lot of the characters that you've worked with for the past 8 years showing up at the same spot, which never happens. And knowing that we were wrapping up this epic journey that we called Arrow it was pretty emotional and a lot of fun. So
We were all crying. Yeah.
Yeah. As we were in the audience as well. No question about that. Who's got another crazy day they can recall?
Oh my gosh. I think for one of the first days that I went on Arrow, which was I think episode 15 in season 1, I wasn't used to. I mean, when you're in Vancouver, you don't know whenever there's like people taking pictures of you from like across the street or anything like that. And so I had a scene with Katie Cassidy where I was like carrying her purse. And this was like back when I was like trying to be macho. And yeah, all these like photos came out and then I was super aware of it. And then we had all these stunts and it would get in my head, but I don't know. I mean, that's just a random memory that I remember.
That always was funny when we I feel like there was a lot of paparazzi in the beginning days of Arrow and like them making us try to cover our super suits. Like we're shooting in the middle of downtown and like basically just have like giant blankets over us with like just trying to not even like so you can't see your masks and stuff because they haven't revealed anything and you're like just trying to cross the street.
Yeah, it's like that almost on any superhero production. Yeah, I've seen the backstage of wearing these. Sometimes they're robes, sometimes they're small tents. It's like we know what hero they're playing. We kind of know what the outfit looks like. It's okay, guys, but I get it. I get it. Yeah, it makes getting out of the trailer a lot harder though. So, absolutely. Juliana, you got a wild and woolly day you can recall?
I have so many memories like rolling through my head right now, but I think for me, the craziest day was just probably my first day on set because I was still having an out-of-body experience from just getting the role. I think I had like $11 in my bank account at the time, and like I remember my driver for Arrow like had to pay for my sandwich like on the way in. Like I was just in a totally different like I couldn't believe it, and it was like watching myself like in this role, and it took a little while for it to all sink in. I still don't know if it's sunken in, honestly, but that was probably the craziest days of my life.
Wow,
it was very surreal.
Well timed. That's the Hollywood dream story,
Yeah, really.
It's always when it was always when you're into your rope, ready to go back home. The agent calls, you got something.
It does, for me, it does seem to happen that way. Yeah, pretty cool.
Absolutely. Kelly, you got a recollection from the set you could recall?
I was hoping you weren't going to call on me.
Well, I'll tell you what. You have done so much superhero and ancillary work. By all means, if you got a crazy day from anything you've worked on, go ahead.
This was one of the hardest, like physically. I was actually in the episode after the pilot. So it was, after the show had just gotten picked up, and we had so many crazy fight scenes. And there was this one that we were shooting in this big, what do you call it? Like a silo, where they hold grain, but it was empty, of course. And we were shooting in that huge thing. And I remember the director saying, well, just keep going, just keep running through the choreography over and over and over and over. And he never called cut. We must have run through it like 10 times until Stephen and I were both exhausted. I mean, Stephen has a lot more energy than I did, but I was literally just like, it was not even choreography anymore. I was literally just fighting for my life. Just trying to stay alive.
Hey, come on. You went toe to toe with Wolverine, so that's saying something. There you go. Well, friends, thank you for indulging my capricious curiosity. We are good to go on our audience questions. So I say let's jump in and roll our first one, which comes from Kevin, who wants to know, if you could have any of the abilities from the show, what would you choose and what would you use it for?
I just want
any of Katie Lotz's natural.
I was just going to say that.
Like not even superpower, just like her natural life agility and ability. And I would just use that brushing my teeth and, flipping to get a glass of water and just
spinning on your head.
A cooler version of myself is what I would do.
Oh, you guys are sweet.
Thanks.
She thinks I'm joking.
Like, did you even have a stunt person?
I never had one until I went on Arrow.
Wow.
And I remember in the beginning, they were kind of like, where I'm like, I can fight. And they're like, okay. Like, and they didn't like believe me at first. And then I was kind of like, no, really guys, like, let me do it. And then of course, working with BAM and stuff like that. And, they started letting me do a lot of stuff, which was cool. But now it's like, we do so much stuff, as you guys know, like you have to have a double because it's almost like they need you in two places at once.
Right.
So it's like you're shooting one thing and they're trying to shoot another thing over there. And but yeah, it's fun. Let's all go train together when I get back to LA.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean, Katie. I had a very similar experience because my first scene as Mia was this massive cage fight. And I was coming from Shadowhunters, and I was like, oh, I can, I do some things. I don't do everything, but I do a lot of the things when it comes to fighting specifically. And I remember the crowd was cheering so loudly. Myself and the double I was fighting with couldn't hear cut, so we just kept going. And they went, oh yeah, you can actually. Great, we're gonna give you more fights.
So cool.
That's awesome.
Nice. Very nice. So who else has a power that they'd like to have?
Oh, right. That was a question.
Right.
Just doing my job.
I mean, maybe.
Well, I guess on Arrow, we didn't have a lot of powers.
No, there wasn't. But well, there were skills. So let's say a power or a skill.
Okay.
Like if you could just have the natural inclination for a bow or an expert marksman or be
maybe Felicity's hacking abilities, just to be able to make any electronic work for you, if you want. That would be nice. Tech is not my forte, so I think I need that.
I agree. I would love that. If I could just be like my own IT person, I wouldn't need a boyfriend.
Yeah, I would just this isn't technically like a superpower, but I just want like David Ramsey's like charm and stature and just like his aura. That's what I would want. Yeah. So
like his shoulders.
So
Yeah.
cool.
I just would like
Every
to be.
time I saw him, he looked bigger and bigger. And I don't know if he was like actually getting bigger or just like if you don't see him for a week, you forget and you're like, wow, like you are a statuesque man.
They had to build a runway for me every time I was in a scene with Steven and David. So I had to walk on a runway next to them. And I was like, well, I'm only like a foot shorter than them.
See, I would be like, give me that runway because I'm kind of, I mean, I'm normal height, okay, but we have some very tall actors.
We have some tall people on our shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then as soon as like you look tall on TV until you stand next to a tall person,
Right.
and then all the illusion is out the window. So I need one of those ramps. You have to tell me how you got one of those.
I put it in my contract. No,
Colton, I
Follow
remember
him
you
with the
talking to me about the Hollywood muscles, and it was the first time I ever heard about that. But you were saying
yeah.
about like we had like some shirtlessy scenes, and I just remember you being like, "It's all about," and it was like all of us. I mean, of course, I'm in a sports bra, but like everyone, it's like ab scenes, and but I just remember you being like, it's all about Hollywood muscles, like the pec muscles. Because everything is always like cropped right there for guys. Like
it's belly button up. That's it. You don't have to worry about anything else. You just
Like that.
yeah.
I thought that was so funny.
I probably made it up, but yeah.
There you have it, Kevin. For myself, I just want the upper body of any of the guys, and I'll be good to go for that power. So, great question to start us off with. What do we have next? From Kelly, what would be your character's theme song?
Scream by Michael Jackson.
Oh gosh, these are not easy questions.
I know this. I haven't been asked that question.
Theme song? I don't know. Freak out. Remember that, right? The Chic. Yeah.
Yeah. Freak out.
I know y'all remember that because I'm the old lady of the bunch.
Oh, we know that.
I'm with you, Kelly.
Yeah, right. You got me.
Yeah.
You're the only one.
Gen X all the way, baby.
I took the Rocky theme song.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
I feel like Mia being punched first, asked questions later is another one bites the dust or something.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Love it.
Yeah. Katrina, you got one?
I'm gonna go with Johnny Cash. God's gonna cut you down.
I love it.
Ooh.
That's
I
badass.
also want to just give your character some like 80s sexy saxophone. Like I also felt like your character. Yeah. This was so
I'll take it.
And Colton, bring us home.
I literally have been. I can't even think of one. I'm trying to think of a Nelly song, but like none of them really go with my character. Like, hot in here, but that's not.
Yes.
I think that works.
Country grammar, no.
It's perfect.
Then I was thinking of Rascal Flatts, and I was like, why? None of these songs I'm thinking of have anything to do with the character, but so I'm blank.
I think hot in here actually it kind of works. Yeah.
I guess we'll go with that.
As the inventor of Hollywood muscles, I think you should go with hot in here.
Yeah.
I have this great the one thing that I'm super great at is just being delusional, and so but they're my delusions and I love them. So
It's all good, brother.
Can we talk about your book? You wrote a book?
Oh my gosh.
Oh
What?
yeah.
Colton wrote a book.
Please talk about it.
Yes.
No.
Yep.
Hold that up again. Let's blow it up so the audience can see it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm up until basically 8 a.m. every day working on my book.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So you're still in the process of writing it?
Well, I'm not supposed to be. That basically they're like, I after your deadline, which was like 6 or 7 months ago, they don't tell you that it's never over. So yeah, so but I'm super proud of it. It'll likely be the greatest thing I'll ever do. I mean, it was the hardest process, like 3 years of just living in essentially trauma. But I'm so proud of it. It's really emotional and heartbreaking, and it's gonna be very hard to read. And it's not because I tend to be like kind of light. But yeah, just beware.
Wow.
I want my signed
Here to
copy.
promote my book. We're on here to talk about Arrow.
No, this is amazing.
Beautiful. This is
We're
so
we're
much
here to
hard work.
talk about all of you guys and all the stuff you have done.
Thank you so much.
God.
Yeah, that's been my nickname forever because I miss memory lane because I just live in memories. I love my memories. So
It's also super brave and vulnerable of you to put yourself out there like that. It's really courageous. So just take a second to.
it's going to be hard to read, especially for you guys know me. So yeah, it's yeah. I talk about stuff I haven't talked about, but it's written really beautifully, and I worked hard on it. So
I'm so proud of you.
yeah, thank you.
Are
It
you-
comes
are
out
you-
May 31st. So go get your pre-order.
Yes.
I did not literally. This is not planned, audience. So
No, we
You
just
paid
No,
me
it's all
actually
good.
to bring it up, guys.
the last thing I want to do is
I
talk.
want my $50,
I
Colton.
didn't get this one. I got
And
you.
and I'll give you a title for the sequel, the phony cat.
Hey.
God,
The cat
I'm
who
working
played
on
me.
I'm working on a second book of sonnets, and it's just even harder. So, yeah, don't try to be a writer, kids. No, I'm kidding. It's great. You'll love it.
All good. Comes out in May. We look forward to it. Callie, great question. Took us down some very interesting roads. What do we have next? Here's one from Sarah R. Ooh, which Arrowverse villain is your favorite?
It really is Kelly. Mostly because I just really like to work with you as well. I would just stare at how beautiful you were. And
We did that one scene that would never end. Remember, we came
in the
back
cold, in the snow.
in the snow, like months later. It was like I don't even remember what episode it was, but there was this one fight scene where there were 3 of us villains, and we come back and we're outside in like a graveyard or something like that.
Right.
And we must have shot it like 3 times. Like it was
Yeah.
crazy. And it was
Yeah.
all in snow.
We entered kind of matrix.
Yeah. I think we went like over like the holidays, like Christmas and New Year, and like a few months later came back and shot the same scene over again.
Yep. Yeah, and there was no snow, and we were like, I don't. It doesn't make sense, but we're not going to say anything because I don't want to shoot this again.
Like, it's not my job.
There you have it. Who's got another favorite villain, villainess, or general antagonist?
I like Prometheus.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh yes.
Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah, I thought John Shakar did such a great job and just played so many levels to him. And it was just fun. I just remember watching him do a scene where he can just kind of be like, oh, wow, it's my line. And I would just be so enthralled with what he was saying that you kind of just get wrapped up in it.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
great.
I think we can't really.
Manu is probably my favorite.
Deathstroke, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like you can't talk about villains and not talk about Damien Dark. He's been a villain on every single one of the shows. He's died. He's come back to life, died again, and like
I just got to work with him on Flash, and I had to really try not to fangirl.
Yeah.
Because he's just so purely evil, and then turns around and there's just so much.
And he's absolute sweetheart.
Yeah.
We've had him on here several times, and he is just like, hey, how's it going? Hey, yeah, he's
And his eyes are like crazy blue.
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So, who's got another one? Catherine, you got one, or just go ahead with Damien?
I mean, I was gonna say Damien Dark anyway, so I
Right.
just have to sing my praises and
There
you know,
you
agree.
There you go. And Juliana, what you got?
Kelly.
Kelly? Yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
There you go. It's a dead even heat between Damien Dark and of course Merlin, because I gotta give props to who doesn't love a Barrowman.
Oh yeah, Barrowman.
So there you are, Sarah R. Thank you. Great question. What do we have next? From Lynn, what would be everyone's dream project to work on?
One with all of these lovely folks all in one place at the same time. I think that would be wonderful. Just because I miss all of you so much, and we had so much fun.
It would be a dream to work together again. It'd be amazing. Yeah.
You guys.
I know, I really miss you guys.
No.
That sentiment across the board?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
already did the dream project, and it would be a dream to do it again.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you have it, Lynn. What do we have next? From Bailey. I'm gonna rephrase this. Have you found yourself in possession of anything from the Arrowverse sets?
I might have one of those little knife things that I used.
Yeah. Catherine's got something in her hand. Oh, blow it up.
The props department handed me a couple of these at one point to practice so that I could, play and learn how to
That's awesome.
handle them as though I had on a daily basis for a very long time. And then they were kind enough to let me keep them when the show ended. So it sits on my desk in my little pencil cup now, and I think fondly on it every day.
There you go. Anyone else got something that they feel comfortable sharing?
I have my bow staff.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Same for practicing. So I was like, let me get the weight of this thing. I didn't steal it.
That's why I said you found yourself in possession of.
Yeah.
I ran through our legal department to make sure that questions rephrased properly.
I stole a bunch of socks and underwear.
So many socks. So because you just wear them home, right?
Yeah, you forget.
And I will, they asked a million times, and I was like, I don't know where they went. I needed
I would come back with like a whole bag of my socks, because I was like, I don't need all of these socks. I'm like, here.
I had a garbage bag full of clothing warmers, like those little warmers that you take out of the packet and you shake and you put in your clothing, because they would just give them to us, and I would just hoard them and throw them in a bag, and it was literally like a heavy garbage bag full of clothing heaters. And then I moved back to LA, and I just went to waste.
Oh no.
Yeah, I should have given them to people in Vancouver. So selfish.
Yeah, I need some of those.
Yeah. I know, Katie. I'm so sorry.
I have a drawer full of those that I just found the other day, and I went, I live in Los Angeles. Why do I? Oh, well, I'll pack them for vacations next time.
I think they stay good.
It's cold. I don't know what you guys are talking. Freezing.
It snowed.
It literally snowed like 2 days ago.
In LA?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I think it got down to 28 degrees. Not last night, but the night before. It's cold.
28?
It was freezing here. I didn't know it was
Wow.
28 though. That's wild.
I know.
Oh my
You just kind of be like, where are we?
That's Minnesota weather. Yikes. There you go. Oh, Katrina, do you have anything from either the Arrowverse or anything else you've worked on?
Nothing I'm allowed to talk about.
Fair. You may
Smart woman.
you may stand on that. Bailey, great question. And a reminder to our audience, if you'd like to chat with our guests like I am now, or purchase an autograph, please sign up at galaxycon.com and let's roll another one. And here's one from Mark. What was the funniest moments you all experienced on the set
Oh, boy.
that you would feel comfortable sharing?
Anyone?
It's always so hard to remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So long ago, right?
I keep having flashes, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but Colton, when you came back and we had your arm situation that we were dealing with,
Yeah.
there were so many iterations of that were just going, you didn't have that choice. And they found a solution eventually, but it was comical in the process.
It was so funny because like I just couldn't do scenes. I just would laugh the entire time, not just with the arm thing, but just in general. I couldn't look at David. I couldn't like Jules and Rick and I would just, I don't know what would happen whenever they'd say, action. I would just turn into like, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it was so fun. I remember there was a scene that I did with Katie. You might have been in this one. I know Katie Cassidy was in it, but I like zip lined down from this building or something, and I had to hit my mark, and I kept overshooting, or like they kept sending me a little too hard, and I kept like flying almost into camera, and we did it like 12 times, and it was one of the funniest things. And then finally we got it. I hit my mark, and then I ruined the take because I started laughing. It was so bad. No, Jules, we had a scene in a helicopter that we were dying.
Oh my God, yes.
Cracking up. But yeah, I mean, there's so many memories.
It was just, I mean, we're supposed to be actors, but it was just like the helicopter's going down, but we're just completely still. So we're like shaking.
They were shaking this fake helicopter, and we were just crying, laughing. So ridiculous.
Was David in the helicopter with us?
Rick was in the helicopter with us.
It was just us and Rick?
Yeah, I think so.
And JoJo, right?
David was in it, I think.
Yeah, I felt like there was someone else in it. JoJo?
No, JoJo was in the tent with us and then came to find you guys.
Yeah. I think it was David. I just remember like giant bodies like gyrating and screaming for their lives.
And Jules was always trying to get us to learn how to do a TikTok.
Oh yeah, and now you're the king of TikTok.
Oh, I haven't been on it in like 7 months. It consumes my whole life. So I literally took all social media off my phone. I was like, I can't do this.
Good for you.
That's amazing.
And you read a book.
Yeah. It's always those moments where you're trying to look cool. I remember I had a scene with Ben, the one and only Ben Lewis, who we all love, who plays my brother, William. But I had to toss this like drive to him, the little zip drive, and one of us would either throw or catch poorly, and it kept dropping. And we tried very hard to look cool, and thank goodness we have professionals who help us with that.
I think that was a blooper reel.
Yeah. You guys have good memories.
Colton, I remember being in the scene with you, and it was when Katie Cassidy couldn't figure out how to say Nanda Parbat.
Oh my gosh. She said Amanda Parbat. Amanda Parbat.
And she couldn't hear what she was saying, and she couldn't understand the difference between Parbat and Porbat. And it got to the point where, like, I think it was you, Steven, and David, and we all just had to when she would come in, we would all have to look down at the ground to try to get this. She would just like sit up, and we're like, oh my God.
But she said 5 different versions of it, and it was just so. I was crying. It actually, you can see I look like I'm crying. It made the blooper reel too. Yeah.
In her defense, among comic readers, we didn't know how to pronounce it either, so we used to always, that way too. So, Mark, fun question. Thank you for that one. What is next? Here's one from Dana. What would your character like to join? Oh, would your character like to join the Legends Tomorrow team? Well,
I volunteer as tribute.
Come on over.
I actually thought about writing to people at the CW and asking over the past couple of years to come on to Legends because I love that show.
I started a
always
Twitter thing, and it didn't happen. So, yeah.
Oh, I didn't even see it.
It was when we like a couple years ago, and they were like, no.
I'm always surprised they because I'm actually always trying to pitch them, especially when we stopped doing the crossovers. I was like, can we just keep doing mini crossovers? Like, just bring in, go revisit all the beloved characters. Like, and our show allows for any opportunity to do that. Like, it's such a. It's so all over the place in the best way. But.
And it is a comic book tradition in comics, especially DC, basically comics. They wrote the book on the inter-character, inter-company crossover events. So yeah, it didn't have to stop with Crisis. There's other things to take inspiration from.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get everybody back in the saddle. All right. Thank you, Dana. Fun one. What do we have next? From Daniela. Ooh, do you prefer playing good or bad characters?
Bad.
Yeah. Bad.
Yeah, bad is so fun.
Bad.
So much more fun.
That is very fun. I feel like with Mia, I got kind of the best of both worlds because she started off being someone where you go bad. Oh no, good.
Yeah.
It takes a minute, so I got to kind of play both sides of the coin for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. No one ever says good, but someday.
Really?
I was gonna say good.
Really?
Yeah.
It's fun to save the day sometimes.
Good.
Right.
There you have it, Daniela. Fun question. Thank you. What from Dave? What are the most precious things that you could learn from your Arrowverse characters? Wow.
I think the biggest thing I took away from Mia, because she's someone who she has a very hard outer shell, but it's because she is so vulnerable on the inside. Once you get past that, she was so afraid to open up because she was afraid it would make her weak, and it was afraid it would make her, give her the ability to be broken. And given all of the lovely characters that took her in, she learned that the opposite was true. That if you let people in and you build your team around you and find your family, it actually makes you stronger to connect with people.
Very good.
I think Dinah taught me to. I'll go. I was going to say Dinah taught me to use my voice. I mean, she literally had like a scream that was her weapon, and a lot of times people think that actors are just inherently like outgoing and extroverted and like I'm opinionated, but like just kind of like loud and out there, and I'm usually quite reserved, and like I tend to make myself small, and in the past like I've like just thought like, oh, my voice doesn't really matter, like I'm just going to keep that to myself, or and playing a character that's like just putting herself out there so much and literally like screaming as her strength, I think let me work on that in my own life too, and just like not be afraid to speak up, and like my voice has weight to it.
Yeah. Well done.
I miss you so much, Jules.
I miss you so much too. I know. I miss you too.
I miss all of you guys.
Let's write our own.
But mostly,
Because she just talked.
Fair. It's everybody's allowed to piggyback. It's all good.
There's lots of love in this chat right now.
I know.
Yeah. Yes. Who's got another one they feel like provide a lesson?
I'd say Sarah Lance taught me a lot about leadership. In her like having to be, the leader of the team, and kind of the going from being such a lone wolf to that. And I think it taught me a lot too, just kind of like even trying to play that on screen and then off screen, trying to like be as helpful as I can on set to like with the crew and the cast and everything, because it's like, we're a big family up there, and it can get quite challenging. And I think, maybe that's part of the reason too I got into directing, because it's such a, you get the ability to like really lead the show in a different way. Like, so that was pretty cool too. That I think Sarah kind of being a leader of the team brought me into directing.
Right on. Yeah.
Okay.
There you have it. Katrina, any lessons?
I don't know if I've actually applied any of this to my life. I don't think I have. I think it's remarkable people. But I loved how opinionated and decisive Nissa was, and how she saw the world in black and white, and she, in her own version of morality or whatever, she knew what was right and wrong. Whereas most of the time in my life, I'm just kind of like, I don't know, maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong. And I have a hard time taking a stance because I just, I don't know. I see all different sides, and then I just don't know. I'm like, maybe I'm being tainted by one version or another, and then I find myself like kind of floating in this like weird bubble of nothingness, which is not ideal. And I love that Nissa will just be like, nope, I'm gonna chop your head off today, and bye. You're like, oh, okay, that's very interesting. So not that I ever want to be that hard, but there's something to it.
There you have it. Kelly, you got one?
I mean, not a lot of redeeming qualities, right?
I know, yeah.
I mean, she's resilient.
True.
I mean, I made it through all seasons without getting actually killed. That's about it, I guess. I mean, she's a badass boss for sure. But yeah, nothing that I think I would want to emulate.
And that is absolutely fair. And there you have it, Dave. And we have time for one more question. So let's see if we got a really fun one. From James D. If you were a contestant on a game show, past or present, which would you like to be on?
I grew up watching Jeopardy, and I just love that show so much. That would be a really fun time.
There's a Nickelodeon show where you would get slimed or something.
Yeah. Was it
Double Dare?
Crack. You got
That,
crack,
whatever
is that what it's called?
that was. The dream was to like have to like find a piece of paper and like a vat full of icing, and then get slimed when you fail. So yes, that sounds wonderful.
Double Dare.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Which is the one where you get to like travel with like your partner or family member or whatever.
Amazing Race.
Amazing Race.
Race. Only because that one you get to like travel and go places and do fun stuff.
Or any of the Japanese game shows. Like what's
That's
that?
what I was gonna say.
Like, when the things come back. You get shoved into a pool of water.
Yeah, and you're just like like you have you like jumping in and you miss and then just bounce off something. You know?
Yeah, then you get eaten by a giant foam rubber clam for no explored reason.
Humiliating.
Colton, you got one?
I'm like, don't say these, and then I'm gonna say them. I'm like, why? They're not even game shows. The first thing that popped in my head was The Swan, and then America's Next Top Model.
You would slay
The
America's
Swan? Why did I think of The Swan as a game show?
I want to watch the season of You on America's Next Top Model. That's all I need in my life.
I mean, look, it was a very problematic show, but it definitely was my whole childhood.
Oh yeah, that's the only reason I know how to do photo shoots is because of America's Next Top Model.
I have a career because of that. Because of that. Literally, I learned everything of that. But it's problematic show. But I'd say Wipeout because those aren't really game shows. Wipeout.
Yeah.
I'm so afraid that I would like break my neck on that show. That looks harsh.
Because
I would agree to do that.
You are bouncing off of like things like someone was saying earlier about Katrina was about the Japanese game show. It kind of feels like that was derived from one of those shows.
Yeah, there you go. Juliana, what game show you got?
I think, do you guys remember, it was also on Nickelodeon, it was called Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Yes.
Yeah.
That show was so awesome. You would like go, and at the end you have to climb up the aggro crag. It was like this crazy mountain, and they had like foam rocks falling down on you, and it was like a race to the top. It looked like I always fantasized about being on it when I was little. I would still.
It was like a Tomb Raider, Raiders of the Lost
Yes,
Ark kind
exactly.
of game. Yeah.
Oh, you know what show I think we'd all be great on, like as a team? When it was called The Floor is Lava.
Yes.
I think we would make an awesome team.
What is it?
You have to pretend the floor is lava, and then you have to you have to jump from like a thing to another. But they give you little things where you can like make
It's like a
bridge
small
or something.
The water colored red, and they have these various things you can kind of jump on or swing from. And if you touch the water, if you don't have to water, I think if you just touch the water, you're out. I believe
that's so fun.
Yeah.
We could just arrange that at a get together with us.
Yeah.
I have some couch cushions downstairs and like a table, so we can do it.
Perfect.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm just gonna sit and hang out, and I'll watch you guys, but I'll bring like sodas or whatever.
Refreshments.
Perfect.
You could be the halftime show.
I can do that. I
all
can learn. Yeah, I can learn choreography very well.
Katie, bring us home. What game show would you want to be on?
Survivor, I think.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know, like, on a very like primal level, like, how would I survive? How would I survive?
You would 100% survive.
You'd be fine.
Yeah, you'd win.
Lovely place.
Oh,
I don't know. I feel like I'd get really hungry. That's the only thing I don't like. Everyone got all skinny because like you have nothing to eat. I'm like,
Yeah.
You would make a spear out of like a tree. You would like, yeah, you'd
go spearfishing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could spearfish. I don't think I'd want to hunt anything else, but I could spearfish.
Yeah.
I'd be out as soon as I got like bug bites.